I got an update for you on what's happening in Texas regarding their law to put the 10 Commandments in every classroom in every school district across the state. And this is a big update. And I know I've done a couple of videos about this already, but this is a big one. I'm going to try to give you a recap so you don't have to watch all those other videos. But here's what's going on, okay? Earlier this year, Texas passed a bill to post the 10 Commandments in public schools. It was King James Version only. The law included a provision that said if any of your schools get sued over this, Ken Paxton, the Attorney General, he's going to defend your district for free, which is a weird way of saying taxpayers are going to be on the hook in case your school district does something illegal, which it is. But after that law was passed, a lawsuit was filed. Specifically, a dozen families from like 11 different school districts, they were represented by like the biggest church-state separation groups in the country. Americans United for Separation of Church and State, the ACLU of Texas, the ACLU National, the Freedom from Religion Foundation. And what these groups said is that if you allow these posters to go up in school, well, our families, our religious beliefs are going to be violated. We don't want our kids getting indoctrinated in this stuff. And this is religious indoctrination that we feel is unfair to our families. And they filed this lawsuit saying, hey, judge, we need you to weigh in on this because the school year is going to start very soon. And in August, a federal judge said, you make a good point. I am not ready to issue my ruling yet, but for now, I'm going to issue a preliminary injunction, basically saying in your 11 school districts, they are not allowed to put up the 10 Commandments, at least until I give further, I issue a further ruling on this. So good news, but it only applied to 11 school districts. Some of them are pretty big, but it's just 11. Texas has like over 1,000 school districts. So, okay. Now, an interesting thing happened after that decision came down, which is that the church-state separation side, they sent a letter to every school district in the state saying, hey, listen, we know that Texas lawmakers said you got to put up the 10 Commandments in your schools, but we have just sued over that, and a judge just sided with us. So we're warning you, don't do it, or we'll come after you too. And after they sent that letter, Ken Paxton sent a letter to the school district saying, I'm the Attorney General, and I'm going to be your governor soon, or whatever he's going for at this point. Senator? He's going for senator at this point. But he said, this is the law, and if you don't put up the 10 Commandments, I'm going to sue you. So if you're a school district, what the hell do you do at this point? Like, the right thing to do is just follow the law, which says you can't do it. But here's the Attorney General breathing down your neck, which is something Ken Paxton apparently loves to do, according to all the scandals about him. Anyway, so school starts. And within a couple of months or so, the church-state separation side filed another lawsuit. Specifically, it's like the same lawsuit, but they tweaked it. And they went back to the judge and said, hey, judge, we got a handful of new families here who want to jump in on this. And now there are 14 more school districts that have put up the 10 Commandments. And we need you to issue an injunction to make them take them down because they're not supposed to be doing that. Remember, you said they shouldn't do it. And the judge said, yeah, you do have a point. So he told those 14 other school districts, you got to take down the 10 Commandments posters. I haven't issued my ruling yet, but you can't do it in the meantime. So that's where we were at. It's like 25 different school districts cannot put up the 10 Commandments, but everyone else is like stuck in limbo between, do we listen to the smart people who know how the law works, or do we listen to Republicans? So in the couple of months since all that has happened, Republican lawmakers in Texas have started doing anything in their power to force school districts to do the illegal thing. Like, there's a state senator, Mays Middleton. He donated 10 Commandments posters to like a major school district in Galveston. And the law says if someone donates the posters, you got to put them up. So he's basically, this state senator is forcing these schools to put up a Christian propaganda poster, which is going to get them sued. Like, how irresponsible of a lawmaker do you have to be to like bait your local public school system so that they get punished for it? Like, how shitty of a person do you have to be to do that? But you understand the dilemma here. Like, these church state separation groups, they're winning every legal challenge they file, but it's like playing whack-a-mole. You got to find the districts that are doing it. You got to find families willing to go on the record and say, we don't want this to happen. Meanwhile, Texas Republicans are like, come on, do it anyway. We dare you to do it. So that brings us to what happened this week, because this is a big deal. Here's the headline from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Texas families file new class action lawsuit to stop public school districts throughout Texas from displaying the Ten Commandments. And basically, what this means is they are now going back to the judge and saying, listen, we are tired of coming to you every single time there's another school district doing this. And we know you are still working on your decision here. And by the way, this has already been appealed. It's going to work its way up to the appellate court. And the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals is already scheduled to hear this issue in like mid-January. But these church state separation groups are going to the judge and saying, listen, we just want you to put a blanket pause on every school district in Texas. Tell them they can't put up the Ten Commandments thing until the other courts weigh in on this, because we're tired of coming to you every single time Ken Paxton makes them disobey your orders. So that's the request. They also pointed out in their lawsuit that I will show you here. This is what FFRF said. Even though 2 federal judges in Texas have ruled that Senate Bill 10 is unconstitutional, school districts across the state continue to display the Ten Commandments. With more than 1,000 school districts in Texas, a class action lawsuit is the most effective way to protect the religious freedom of all Texas public school children and their families. Was there one other thing I wanted to show you here? Maybe not. They also pointed out in the actual lawsuit here, this is interesting. Check this out. Look at number 236. The plaintiff class is so numerous that that joinder of all members is impractical and includes millions of parents and their minor children who are subjected to these unconstitutional displays. Like, don't make us ask 5.5 million students and their parents to join us on these lawsuits. As of the date of this filing, Restore American Schools reports that over 4,200 schools in Texas have complied with that Ten Commandments bill, and an estimated 180,000 classrooms and a bunch more students have seen these posters. So they're saying, come on, judge, you got to put a stop to this because these people are walking all over you. And they also pointed out, and this was an interesting thing, this is number 250. If plaintiffs are compelled to pursue relief in multiple counties, these are the church state separations people. If we're compelled to pursue relief in multiple counties or even federal districts across Texas, the same core facts and legal theories could yield divergent outcomes on different timelines, resulting in both confusion among defendants and a needlessly increased risk that members of the plaintiff class will suffer violations of their constitutional rights. So yeah, that's a good reason for a judge to step in and say no one should be allowed to do this. For now, all these legal fights just show you how this law was never about education or morality or even tradition. It was just to test how far politicians could force Christianity into public institutions. Let's see when the courts step in to stop us. Because in Texas, they're not stopping everybody. That's what this is all about. And instead of backing down, though, in the face of all these federal rulings against them, what have Texas's top Republicans done? They just are encouraging all these schools to do the thing that's blatantly illegal. Like, I hate that civil rights groups have to waste their time and money and their expertise filing all these legal papers, trying to force the state to just do what the Constitution says. It's not that complicated. This is a settled issue. It has been for decades. But when your opponents are religious zealots, everyone else has to be like a full-time watchdog. And for what? What is the benefit of the 10 commandments in the classroom? Nothing. No one is safer because they're up on the walls. There's no school shooting has been averted because thou shalt not kill is hidden somewhere in that list. But this is the hill Republicans want to die on because they don't actually want to do anything to make your lives better. I don't know what the Fifth Circuit's going to do next month when they hear this case. I'm genuinely worried because that's a very conservative court. But the whole long game of all these 10 Commandments bills was to get this case in front of the U.S. Supreme Court so they could just say the 10 Commandments is U.S. tradition, so we're allowing it. And that's bullshit, but that's totally what they want to see happen. And we're at another step in that process. Until that happens, though, courts should do their jobs and put a stop to this, and public school districts should not play along with what Republicans tell them to do. All right, I will stop there for now. What questions we got here? Can the kids rip them down and claim they're offended by it? I am guessing no. I'm guessing the kids will get in trouble for destroying school property at that point. He can be disbarred for that, can't he? You mean Ken Paxton for telling people to do the illegal thing? Ken Paxton has done way worse stuff, and he's like Donald Trump. He avoids any responsibility because the people who would hold him accountable are conservative judges or Republican lawmakers. And those people have no backbone and no principles and no ethics. So no. Could he be disbarred for that? I mean, in a world that works, sure, but not in Texas. Remember, Hemant, the GOP goal is to destroy education. They don't care about winning, just smashing. That is correct. I agree. They want to destroy public education. That's kind of the theme of a lot of our stories. This is settled law. So is Roe. I know. And the right-wing Supreme Court will just magically overthrow it. They'll use whatever justification they want to use. That's where this is going because people are dumb enough to vote for these people who then appoint these Republican justices, rather. So